What's up, guys? I am coming at you from Yanghe. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm here in Yanghe. It's the site of one of the top 3 Baijiu manufacturers in China by volume. But this particular area has over 2,000 years of Baijiu making history. So Baijiu is a Chinese spirit. And if some of you know about Baijiu, it may come to a surprise that here in Yanghe, it has this history, because most people will think of Guizhou, where Mao Tai is from, when they think of Chinese Baijiu. So, why am I here? Some of my long-term subscribers may know 2 things about me. One, in between my heavy topics, I used to take you guys on some trips, but I haven't taken you on any trips in a long time. And this is somewhere I've been invited to for a long time, and I thought I would come here, check it out, and bring you guys along. You can have some experiences with me, but mostly kind of see what the production looks like and see some of the scenery here. Second thing my long-term subscribers may know about me is that I own a craft beer brewery, so there's some crossover here. You know, I'm also involved in the drinks business and in fermentation and things like that. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do here and how they do it, especially on their scale. So the first place we're going to go is their visitor center, where we learn a little bit about the history of this entire area as a winemaking region. And they'll also do something cool where they take a swab of the inside of your cheek to test your alcohol tolerance level. I don't know how it works, if they're testing some sort of an enzyme, or I don't think it's DNA, but regardless, it sounds pretty fun. So let's go there first, and then we'll continue on throughout the other areas of the factory. All right, so right now we've arrived somewhere where we're gonna taste some of the Baijiu, but also in a facility that is a Baijiu bank. So this is where some of their customers buy 100 liters of Baijiu, and they put it here to save for a special occasion or as an investment if it later increases in value. So these, for example, many of them were stored in 2014. They were already 20 years old at that time. And from what I understand, the customers paid 640,000 renminbi for them. So that's like 100,000 US dollars for 100 liters. So you can imagine this is supposed to be a pretty good product. But from here, we will continue on in and we will taste some of the actual product. Let's go. All right, so we're sitting in some kind of a tasting room waiting for the main mixologist to come along and explain some of this stuff to us. And apparently we're going to be trying some of this. I don't know exactly what he's going to explain, if we're going to be testing the differences between them. But it's 9:30 in the morning. It feels a little bit odd. But this is all in the name of education and understanding and research, isn't it? So I think we'll do okay. 这个4个你刚开始的时候，它用的材料都是不一样的，对吧？
产质不一样，产地不一样。像这个基酒，它有不同年份的原酒，有不同区域的酒。像这个就是我们选定的在酿酒这个第1区啊，采用的老窖产的特甜、特绵或特香的调味酒。
啊，明白。你们这边的酒，你这酿的时候，就是还没有蒸馏的，在酿的时候，它是不是用了一种的酵母都是一样的吗？
没有，
因为我是做那个精酿啤酒，然后这精酿啤酒我们是要那个发酵它，然后我们选的哪一种的酵母会影响它的味道，所以我以为这也是一样的，因为是做威士忌，你也要先就是酿出来了。酿完了，那去那个蒸馏的这个过程是不一样的，是吧？
对，不，我们这个是咱们那是液态，我们这是固态，就是说，简单说就是说，把这个粮食投进去和取啊，就是说我刚才说的取和粮食投到哪里？我们的底坯中，然后入窖， 在酵子里进行发酵。刚才你在酵子里，它酵母就是来自于自然界中的酵母菌，自然界中的叫什么产香、产脂、产味的微生物很多啊。这个叫霉菌很多啊。它就是种类很多。然后在里边我们正常发酵70天，然后经过70天的发酵，再把它从这个酵池中挖下来，放到锅中进行蒸。这蒸我们的酒度一般呢，前面呢在70多度到尾段60度炖度过后，就是进行入库了。与那个国外那个蒸馏酒的确不一样。
这个感觉就是比较自然的。
对，它没有外加酵母，都是采取自然界中的微生物。
这挺好。
开放式的。
那如果我也酿那个啤酒的时候，那个水也是很重要的。所以如果你酿这个酒，那个材料方式都是一样的，但是在另外一个地方水是不一样的，是不是会影响它的味道？
对呀，
很大吗？
影响很大。我俗话说就是一个什么呢？曲是酒中的骨，就类似于我们人体中的骨头一样，曲。而水就是类似于我们人体中的血液一样，很主要。它可以不仅仅你比方说有好酒的地方，它必有甲醛。我们这边就有一个美人泉嘛。
那这个因为我不知道是不是蒸馏了以后都差不多了，但是其实这个也是很重要的。
对，因为溶有水的风味物质，它那个这个很多这个味感啊，它是经过蒸馏它可以带上来的。你要是水不好，它肯定它把那个风味物质也可以带上来。
水是很重要的，
很重要。
我住在那个重庆那边的人也说，他们的火锅水也是很重要的。我说为什么这个品牌去深圳去外面是不一样的？他说它水是不一样的。
有道理，
所以这个也是很重要的。好，那谢谢你。
不行，好。
All right, so I've become a little bit more familiar with what's in front of me now. So this is kind of a base that they use for all of their alcohols. It's kind of very clean. They put it in their final product. And then these three are more flavorful, and they're flavorful for different reasons. They've been aging for different periods of time. And then the mixologist will mix them into a final product. That final product, depending on which brand it's for, I would imagine would have a different composition of mixtures. So this first one from this bottle, the base, we'll try it together and I'll try to describe it the best I can. It's quite difficult to describe these flavors, but especially with the high alcohol level, but I'll try my best. So this one is the base. Just very clean tasting. There's not too much to it. It still has that Chinese Baijiu-like flavor, but definitely a lot more clean than anything else that's out there, which is why it probably works pretty good as a base. I wouldn't say it's as clean as something like a vodka, which is just a very basic spirit that doesn't have too much flavor to it. This definitely has flavor to it. Now this second one here is going to have quite a bit more flavor. You can smell it right away as well. Okay, so that's a really heavy flavor. It almost tastes like you can taste the pottery that it was aged in. You can taste the barrels or whatever it was they had this in. Definitely a lot more flavor. The third one? Okay, that is the most viscous one out of them. Very thick, kind of like a soy sauce-like kind of a flavor. You can imagine that in the final product, you'd only want to put a little bit of that. And the final one. Not as viscous as the last one, but still very, very flavorful. You can taste the grains. You can taste the ingredients that went into it. It seems like much more than the other ones, where the other ones you can taste the process more than the actual ingredients. So what they would do is they would mix all of these together, like I said, into their final product. Actually, why don't we just try that? Let's see if I will qualify as a mixologist of Baijiu. I don't know if this is going to work. This one I'd imagine you'd only want to put a little bit. Oh, that was probably a little bit more than it deserved. All right, we'll mix this up and we'll see if I have a career in Baijiu mixing ahead of me. I think I'll still leave it to the professionals. But not bad. It's still something quite interesting. All right, let's continue on. All right, so we wrapped up in the visitor center, and unfortunately we weren't allowed to film the most interesting thing, which was where they take a swab to test your alcohol level, how much you can safely consume, and then you scan a code and you can check it on your phone later to see what your tolerance level is later. I don't know exactly how it works, maybe it's a trade secret, but whatever, we'll take a look at that later. For the rest of the visitor center, it was mostly a corporate presentation with some information about this area as a wine producing region for 2,000 years and some of the artifacts or replicas of artifacts from the kind of winemaking era here. Now, what I'm really more interested in is the production and seeing people actually make this product. So hopefully that's going to be our next stop. So let's head over there now and see what we find next. So this is the grain that actually goes into their product to actually ferment first. Actually, I'm going to taste a bit. Tastes like grain. And they'll put it in the rooms over there and they'll ferment it for 70 days. After 70 days, it reaches about 17% alcohol level. Then they put it into these things, and this is where they have underground steam piping that heats it up and basically takes out the alcohol content. As I mentioned earlier, they'll take the head out, and they'll dump that out because that has the methanol. And now they have what's coming out about 78% alcohol. So I think we're gonna try a little bit. We got a bowl here, I hope they don't mind. 78%, I think it's gonna be pretty rough, but oh, that smells interesting. That's really strong smelling. You can just smell the alcohol right off of it. That's strong. But you still get a lot of the grain flavor, actually. It's very different, once again, from vodka or something like that. You get a strong flavor of the grain here, and then perhaps the vessels that it's actually being fermented in. But I better be careful with this. Wow. It's way cleaner than I thought it would be for 78% alcohol. I thought it would have much more of a bite to it, but that's pretty impressive. All right, let's take a look at the fermentation area. All right, this is really interesting, and it was unexpected. When I came through here, they said the fermentation areas were here, and I saw this. I said, I had to actually go back, and I said, where are the actual fermentation areas? And they said, this is it. I said, well, how is this possible? Where's the liquid? Where's the alcohol going? And they say, this is totally different. The alcohol is contained within these grains. This is being fermented right now as we speak, and the final product, the alcohol, is actually inside the grain. So afterwards, when they distill it, they put these grains into the distilling pot, and the steam comes up from below, and the steam carries out the alcohol. So this is completely unexpected. But it also explains why Baijiu has that really strong, distinct flavor, even though it's distilled to very high percentages, because the alcohol is literally being carried out directly from the grains. I mean, that's incredible. Totally unexpected, as I said. Let's continue on to the other areas. This place is really interesting. I really like the feel here. Let's see what else we can find. All right, so we're wrapping up here now, and the next place we're gonna go after lunch is the automated production area, but I'm gonna miss this place because it has a really special feel. When you look at the wood, you look at the steam, the beams of light coming in, even the clothes they're wearing, it just has this old feel. It just feels like this is exactly how they would have been brewing hundreds of years ago. It's really quite special. I think this has been my favorite part so far. But now we're going to see the automation side, and when you're one of the 3 biggest producers of Baijiu in China, you've got to have some automation, so that's what we're going to check out next. So let's go and check that out. All right, so we have now arrived at the massive production facility, the place where they make all of the really large amounts of Baijiu that they're sending out. So let's go in and take a look. You know, it's really funny. When I first arrived in this town, everything smelled like Baijiu, the entire town. But slowly I've become desensitized to it. Now I'm in the actual place where the smell is coming from, and it doesn't feel as strong as the first day when I arrived. I've kind of gotten used to it. But you can kind of see this whole place is absolutely massive. The production volumes they're doing here just must be, I mean, it's something I can't even imagine with my small little craft beer brewery that I've got. But the whole process, they said it's more or less the same as the handmade stuff in terms of the times and stuff like that. We have the fermentation area over here where it will still take 70 days, but they've got all kinds of machines now to move around this grain. You don't see people with shovels or anything like that, but the scale of this is just absolutely impressive. You can take a look all the way across here. And all the way on the other side too are just endless areas where they have this grain that's fermenting, and as we said before, the alcohol will be contained in the actual grain. It's really impressive. Let's go and take a look at the rest of the place. All right, so we've been looking at these piles of grain that are mashed up on the floor that they're using for fermentation, but now we can see what's actually going into it. So we have corn here, we have sticky rice, we have wheat, we have regular rice, we have sorghum, and this one is barley. So this is what's going into it. And they have, let's see here, they've got more of the actual product. I think this is 72% alcohol, similar to the stuff we tasted coming right out of the steamers there in the last place. So we'll see if it tastes the same. Yeah, it has the same flavor, and it's actually pretty surprising. It doesn't taste like 72% alcohol. It definitely feels like it's a lot more smooth than that. Maybe if we were having larger glasses, it would be a bit of a different story, but still. Anyways, let's continue looking around. All right, so we are in our final station here. This is the packaging area where they are putting the final product into the bottles that will head out into the market. It'd be far more interesting if we could get up close and personal and kind of see what they're doing, but that is a germ-free zone that they're kind of controlling quite strictly. So we can't go in there, but you guys can still take a quick look around from here, and then we'll start wrapping up after this. All right, guys, so that's it. We have seen everything. We covered a lot of ground. I hope you enjoyed that. If you do and enough people want to see more content like this, let me know, because I do get a lot of invitations to other places, and we can see about getting out there too. But for now, what I'll do is I'll leave you with some aerial shots of the manufacturing area and this whole kind of region here. And we will finish up by having dinner and some more drinks with some new friends we met today. Once again, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll catch you in the next one. 6到8。
哇塞，你可以啊！
6到8两，看看啊，6到8两，4到6两
4到6两是最多
，4
的，
到6两。
6到8是意思是在
1斤以内的。
400毫升的，对吧？8两是400毫升的。
对，
对，差不多，about half a liter。
So it's accurate, right?
我觉得这个不止。